All right, so I was looking at this Ben Shapiro video. It's over. It's over on the Daily Wire channel, and it got a lot of backlash, serious backlash. And it's the infighting between the Trumpies and the establishment, otherwise right wingers. And he faced this during the campaign trail as well, during the election cycle. Sorry, because he said he was a never Trumper. I remember he made a video on Truth or Vote calling Donald Trump a liar and a fraud and a bully, and he got a ton of backlash. I remember at one point it was at like 6K likes, 4K dislikes. I think they purchased likes and added it to it because I don't know how else it would go up because it went up a bunch more. I don't know what it's at now, but it was definitely getting a lot of backlash. Ben Shapiro did face a ton of backlash during the election because of his opposition to Donald Trump. That's the reason why people like Jones and Mark Dice and all those crazies hate him, is because he was an ever Trumpy, when he got into those fights with Cernovich, etc., etc. Definitely got into some fights. Now, we're going to be looking at this. So this is a video about tariffs, with the whole trade war on China, and Trump, he called himself Tariff Man. Hilarious. So this video is sitting at 389 likes and 265 dislikes. And I'm going to read you guys the comments on this, and it'll probably get more dislikes. I think it was uploaded today. It was uploaded yesterday. But I don't know. But check out this video right here. We're going to come back and talk about it.
The stock market took this major dump, and one of the reasons that it took this major dump is because President Trump was signaling yesterday that he was the tariff man. He tweeted out, "The negotiations with China have already started. Unless extended, they will end 90 days from the date of our wonderful and very warm dinner with President Xi in Argentina. Bob Lighthizer will be working closely with Steve Mnuchin, Larry Kudlow, Wilbur Ross, and Peter Navarro on seeing whether or not a real deal with China is actually possible. If it is, we'll get it done. China is supposed to start buying agricultural product and more immediately. President Xi and I want this deal to happen, and it probably will. But if not, remember, I am a tariff man, capital T, capital M. Tariff man, doing whatever a tariff can. When people or countries come in to raid the great wealth of our nation, I want them to pay for the privilege of doing so. Trade is not actually a raid on the wealth of our nation. And when I go and shop at the grocery store is not raiding me. He says it will always be the best way to max out our economic power. So tariffs are the best way of maxing out our economic power. Has worked awesome in the past when it basically exacerbated the Great Depression and led to a global depression. We are right now taking in billions in tariffs. We took in $7.1 billion total in tariffs. That pays for a cup of coffee on the federal level. We spend about $7.1 billion every millisecond in Washington, D.C. And then he says, in all capital letters, make America rich again. Tariffs do not make you rich. Tariffs do not. If you refrain from trading with people who have a comparative advantage over you, you are poorer, not richer. Go try to grow your own materials for a sandwich. It will cost you $1,000. Or you could go to a restaurant and buy one for $5. It turns out that trade and mutually beneficial trade are the basis of any functioning economy. President Trump is freaking out the market, and it ain't smart. He tweeted out this morning about how he's optimistic a deal will get done, but whipsawing between I want a deal, I don't want a deal, tariffs are great, tariffs are awful. Like, none of this is good for the long-term security of the market. What people want in the market is a certain level of predictability. Unpredictability in the market is a bad thing. You actually want a consistent level of regulation. You want a consistent level of taxation. You don't want policy bouncing around like yo-yo, because when it does, I don't know whether to put my money in the market. Do you? Right now, do you feel secure putting your money in the stock market? I mean, maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Nobody really has a clue at this point. And that's because you don't know what policies are going to come down the pike any moment now.
All right, so as you guys just saw there, Ben Shapiro is in opposition to tariffs. Now, there is a debate going on about tariffs. Now, here's the big issue with tariffs, okay? There's nobody on planet Earth, even if you support tariffs, you definitely don't support Donald Trump's tariffs, because the way he's putting it is super disorganized, randomized, and just totally irresponsibly. And he's a kooky guy. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing. So it's insane to just blanket be for tariffs. If you are to say that you're for blanket tariffs just on anything as long as there's the word tariff there, you're dumb. Okay, period. I mean, I don't even know how to describe that to you. Now, for the longest time, I really didn't know whether or not to support Trump's. I was always leaning towards the side of no on Trump's tariffs that he did on aluminum and steel, because it didn't look like it was actually helping anything. And the problem is, tariffs are actually something that are pretty complex. Now, and I didn't really find anybody who could really adequately explain the situation. But then I just recently saw Richard Wolff's breakdown of these steel and aluminum tariffs. So I'm going to show you guys a clip of that right here.
A 25% tariff on steel imports and a 10% tariff on aluminum imports. What is this about? Well, let's first be sure we all understand what a tariff is. It's just a special name for a tax. Basically, what a tariff does is say, if steel comes into the United States, whatever the price being charged, the importer is going to have to pay 25% more than that price, a tax on the steel that will go to the federal government, which is imposing the tax, and the likewise 10% for the aluminum. It's very good news for the producers of steel and aluminum here in the United States. See, it turns out they haven't been doing real well. They can't compete with imported steel, which is either of better quality or lower price or both. And of course, when companies can't compete, one of the strategies they're free to pursue is to get the government to protect them. By making it more expensive to buy the better quality or lower priced imports, it will force buyers here to turn to the American companies. And guess what? They can jack up their prices so long as they stay just a little bit below what the imported cost will be with this new tax, and that will allow them to raise prices to whom? To all the rest of us, to the companies that buy steel and aluminum in this country. Let me give you the two examples everybody cites. The automobile business in this country buys steel and aluminum. The can business, canned soda, canned beer, all of that, canned vegetables, they use aluminum, etc., also in large quantities. These companies will be hurt because they're going to have to pay higher prices for the steel and aluminum they buy from the American companies that get protected by the tariff. So now let's look at what this means. The reality, as any trained economist knows, is, on the one hand, you may get some more jobs in the aluminum and steel business because their prices are going to go up. They're sitting pretty. But you will certainly lose jobs in the companies that buy a now higher priced steel and aluminum because their profits are going to go down and their conditions are going to deteriorate and they're going to lay off workers.
Yeah, so basically my understanding of Richard Wolff's breakdown is these are really dumb tariffs because while you're going to save some jobs in these companies that manufacture steel and aluminum, it's irrelevant because you're going to lose jobs in companies that buy steel and aluminum. So your goal was to save jobs, which is what the whole purpose of tariffs are, and you didn't save any of it. So Richard Wolff is the first one to really be able to break it down to me that these tariffs are stupid and they don't make any sense. And so Trump has been doing this, waging this, tariff attack, and it's become now like a tariff battle against China, where they're putting tariffs and then they respond with tariffs. Bad idea. Tariffs in this way especially don't work. Aluminum and steel tariffs are total bogus. They're total bubkiss. They don't do anything. It's dumb because, as Richard Wolff says, basically those steel and aluminum manufacturers become rich, and meanwhile you save some jobs there, but then the other companies, which are, I think he said, the can industry and the car industry, who buy steel and aluminum, they're going to lose jobs. So you might even have a net loss in jobs. I mean, I just read that, there are car manufacturers who are just going to ship jobs overseas or leave anyways due to these tariffs. So these tariffs are dumb, okay? They're completely stupid. And again, the simplistic view of, I support tariffs because I want to save jobs, so any tariffs are good. Dumb. Wrong. No, That's not the way it works. You have to be precise and specific about the tariffs. And as Richard Wolff broke down there, these are very dumb tariffs. They're stupid. They don't make any sense. There's no point of trying to save jobs when you're just benefiting one of the companies who now gets to make more money, and they get to keep the jobs there. And then you may even net lose jobs, and you probably will, with companies that buy steel and aluminum. So they're dumb. So I'm actually in agreement with Ben Shapiro here, and I'm surprised Ben Shapiro is actually sticking to his principles, because he doesn't really do that very often. We just talked about the Mark Lamont Hill thing. He's not really down with the whole principles thing. That's not really his thing. That's just not his game. I don't know how else to put it. Now, let me read you guys these comments. We're just totally flipped out at Ben Shapiro. One of them says, tariffs are not good, but this trade war with China is necessary. China has not been playing by the rules for decades. Another one says, Tariff Man isn't the hero we deserve, but the one we need. By the way, that Tariff Man song by Ben, really kind of interesting. One of those few times a lot of us don't agree with Ben. This is a leverage war, a necessary evil. The status quo hasn't been working. Leave it to the trade tariff man. It'll all come to a head eventually, and I don't believe it'll be China on top. But we'll see. Hope you're wrong, Ben, just this one time. Tariffs are good for leverage. Yeah, well, we lose jobs. Doesn't make sense. That's all well and good when the other guy plays by the rules. When he doesn't, tariffs are non-violent responses that makes them pay for their BS. You're young. You're smart. You don't know everything. That's hilarious. There are actual Ben Shapiro fans. I just read a comment from a Ben Shapiro fan that just said he's young and he doesn't know everything. I never thought I'd see that my entire life. That's insane, dude. It's not for a good reason, though, because these are the Trump fans. Trump fans are idiots. Another one says, agree to disagree. Trump knows what he's doing. Really? Trump knows what he's doing? The stock market's starting to tank. We're starting to net lose jobs from that whole debacle. And he knows what he's doing. People are under the dumb delusion that Trump is some genius businessman. Do you have any idea how many times he filed? I think he filed bankruptcy like 4 times. He'd be richer now if he just liquidated everything, put it into stocks, and just chilled. He would have more money right now. It's insane. He's a terrible businessman. Another one said, LOL, you would say that. Admit when you're wrong. Ben is just wrong on this one. Trump has always said he wants zero tariffs, ideally. Tariffs are leverage for fair trade, but Ben talks like any trade is good trade. Sometimes Ben really irritates me. This is one of those times. Let me see. Another one. Oh, this is insane. Someone is using the NPC meme against Ben Shapiro. It says, Orange Man bad with 3 question marks and 3 exclamation points. Wow. I've never seen Ben Shapiro use the NPC meme, but you know what they say, man. You either die a hero or live to see yourself become a hero or a villain. Another one says, Tariff Man is big superhero. Poor Ben has been hanging with the deep state swamp and it's rubbing off. Must be important for him to have Paul Ryan as a buddy. Oh my gosh. People are now calling him a sellout. That's hilarious. This is unbelievably funny. Here's this one's going to be pretty funny too, I think. Trump, president and CEO of America, knows that Ben Shapiro stuck between $23 trillion in debt and a hard place. I'm glad we have President Trump in charge. And we know he is not some double-talking, lying politician, and he cares about the USA. Again, this guy has been fiscally horrible as a businessman. What makes you think he's going to be good for the... By the way, the deficit has totally inflated like crazy. It's gone up massively. It's at more than double now of what Obama's was, and it's not even the end of the year yet. We still got some time. It's more than double what Obama's was in his final year. So that whole theory doesn't work anyways. Oh my goodness. Someone says, this is in full caps, shame on you, Ben. Maybe you're not on the side of good after all. We had faith in you. 3 exclamation marks. This is hilarious, dude. I have looked at all of this, and I can't even find a single supportive Ben Shapiro comment. Not even one. Another one says, Ben Shapiro is such a neocon. free trade kind of guy. So basically what it looks like to me is his entire just straight up audience just totally flipped on him. Another one says, Ben Shapiro is a status quo guy. He will not toe the line and deaf won't cross it. That's why Trump is winning so much. He is doing what needed to be done decades ago. This is hilarious. Another one says, I disagree. This is not about economics, but rather geo-economical competition. Oh man, this is a really entertaining. I recommend you go and read these comments. Again, I just looked through so many. I can't find a single supportive Ben Shapiro comment in this entire comment section. Holy guacamole, is it hilarious to watch his own fans turn on him. It's pretty hilarious. Dude, someone used the NPC meme against him. Goodness gracious, is that hilarious.